Being remembered isn't being chosen. That's the thing nobody tells you. You can be the person someone always comes back to and still never be the person they actually pick. Those are two completely different things, but they feel the same when you're in it. There was a stretch of time where I thought being remembered meant something. She'd disappear for a week, sometimes two, and then out of nowhere, a message like nothing happened. "Hey, how have you been?" And I'd answer immediately, because that's what you do when you've convinced yourself this still means something. We'd talk for a few days. It would feel easy again, feel like the version of her I actually liked. Then she'd go quiet again, no explanation, no real reason, just gone. And I never asked why, because I was scared of the answer. I think part of me already knew, but knowing something and admitting it are two different things. So I built a whole story around it instead. I told myself she was just busy. I told myself people get overwhelmed and pull away sometimes. And it doesn't mean anything deeper than that. I told myself the fact that she remembered me at all out of everyone she could have texted had to count for something. And honestly, at the time, that felt like enough. I wasn't asking to be her whole world. I just wanted to matter a little. And being remembered felt like proof that I did. What messed with my head after wasn't even the silence, it was the return. Cause if she never came back, I could have moved on clean. But she always came back right when I started to let go. Right when I stopped checking my phone as much. Right when I almost believed I was over it. And that timing, I think about that timing a lot now. It never felt random to me, even though I told myself it was. After a while, I started noticing the pattern, even though I didn't want to. She never reached out when things were good in her life. She reached out when she was bored or lonely or something else fell through. And I'd get this message like I was her first thought when really I was just the last option still available. And I knew that some part of me knew that every single time, but I answered anyway, because being remembered felt like something, even when it wasn't enough. I started replaying conversations, trying to find the moment I became convenient instead of important. I went back through old messages looking for the exact point where it shifted, like there'd be some obvious sign I missed. There wasn't one, it just slowly became normal. The gaps got longer, the effort got smaller, and I adjusted every single time without noticing I was adjusting. That's the part that scares me now. How quiet that shift was. How I didn't fight it while it was happening. I started asking myself what I did wrong. I thought maybe I came on too strong at first, or maybe I wasn't interesting enough to keep her around consistently, or maybe if I had just given her more space, she would have missed me the right way instead of the convenient way. I tried adjusting myself around her instead of asking her to adjust around me. I texted less, thinking that would make me seem less available. It didn't change anything. She still only showed up when she needed to. I texted more, thinking maybe consistency would prove something. That didn't change anything either. I realized eventually that no version of me was going to fix a pattern that had nothing to do with me at all. And I think that's the part that actually got to me. It wasn't about what I did or didn't do. It was never about effort. It was about the fact that I was never the option she was looking at first. I was the option she looked at when the first one didn't work out, or when she was between things, or when she just wanted to feel wanted without giving anything back. And the scary thing is, you can be that for someone for a long time and still not see it clearly, because it doesn't feel like being used. It feels like being cared about, just inconsistently. I think about how normal that felt to me at the time, and it kind of freaks me out now. Like I had fully adjusted my expectations to fit whatever she was willing to give. I stopped expecting consistency. I stopped expecting to be a priority. I just expected to be remembered eventually. And I told myself that was enough to build something on, and for a while, I actually believed that. I believed being remembered was a form of being chosen, just a quieter version of it. What really sits with me is how easily I excused all of it. Every disappearance had a reason I made up for her. Every silence had an explanation I created in my head, so I didn't have to face what it actually was. I did all the emotional work of understanding her absence, while she never had to explain anything at all. She never had to say where she went or why. She just came back, and I just accepted it. Because the alternative was admitting I wasn't as important as I wanted to be. And underneath all of it, honestly, there was this fear I didn't say out loud. The fear that maybe this was just how it was gonna be for me. That maybe I was the type of person people keep around but don't fully choose. That maybe being remembered was the ceiling, not the beginning. And that fear sat there quietly while I kept answering every message, kept giving second chances, kept telling myself this time might be different, even though nothing about the pattern had actually changed. And it's not just me. I see this everywhere now. This whole thing where people keep a few options warm without ever fully choosing one. Everyone's got someone they text when things get quiet, someone they check in with, not because they miss them specifically, because they miss the feeling of being wanted. And it's easier to get that feeling from someone who's already proven they'll answer. Nobody wants to fully commit anymore, but nobody wants to fully let go either. It's easier to keep a few people on standby, just in case the main thing falls through, just in case they get bored on a random Tuesday night, just in case being alone for one evening feels like too much. And the messed up part is, from the outside it looks like caring, it looks like effort, a good morning text, a random how's your day, a hey, I saw this and thought of you, but none of it costs anything. None of it requires actually choosing someone over everyone else. It's low effort dressed up as high meaning, and you don't see that until you're the one on the receiving end of it for months, wondering why it never turns into more, wondering why it just stays exactly where it is no matter how long you wait. I think about how normal that setup has become, like it's not even seen as a problem anymore. It's just how things work now. People keep a rotation without calling it a rotation. They keep options without calling them options. They just call it keeping in touch, staying friendly, not wanting to lose someone completely. And maybe that sounds harmless when you say it like that, but living inside it doesn't feel harmless at all. It feels like being on hold. It feels like you're always one step away from mattering, but never actually arriving there. What it actually does to you, though, underneath all that, is it quietly convinces you that you're not enough to be someone's first choice. Not directly. Nobody says that to your face. Nobody's ever gonna sit you down and say, hey, you're my backup option. But the pattern says it for them. Every time you're an afterthought dressed up as a thought, it chips away at how you see your own worth. Without you even realizing it's happening. It's slow. It's not one big moment. It's 100 small ones stacked on top of each other. Until you don't even notice the weight anymore. You start measuring yourself by how little you can accept and still feel okay. You start thinking maybe this is just what you get. Maybe some people get chosen fully and some people get remembered occasionally and you're the second kind. And that belief is dangerous because it doesn't feel dramatic. It feels quiet. It feels like acceptance. But really, it's just you slowly agreeing to want less than you actually deserve. One convenient message at a time until wanting less feels normal. Feels like maturity almost. When really, it's just resignation wearing a calmer face. I remember one night specifically, months into all this, she texted around midnight asking what I was doing. Nothing important, just checking in, her words, and I remember sitting there staring at my phone thinking, why does this still make me feel something? Why does one message after 2 weeks of silence still light something up in me like it means anything at all? I answered right away. Obviously, we talked for maybe an hour. Nothing deep, just back and forth. And then she said she was tired and that was it. Gone again, like flipping a switch. And I lay there afterward, just replaying it, feeling that same familiar mix of relief and disappointment. Relief that she remembered I existed. Disappointment that I still felt relief about something that small, and that's when it actually hit me. Not gradually this time, just all at once. Being remembered isn't rare. Anyone can remember you at midnight when they're bored. What's rare is someone choosing you when they have somewhere else they could be. Someone else they could text and picking you anyway consistently. Without needing a reason, without it being midnight. Without them needing anything from you first. At first, it felt like being wanted, but it wasn't being wanted, it was being available, and those aren't the same thing. Being wanted means someone builds their life with room for you in it on purpose, even when nothing's going wrong for them. Being available just means you never left, so they never had to work for you. I used to think if I just stayed patient enough, stayed consistent enough, she'd eventually see what she had. But consistency doesn't create choice in someone who was never going to choose you in the first place. It just delays the moment you realize that. It stretches it out so slowly you don't notice you're still in the same spot months later. And once I saw it that way, I couldn't unsee it. I wasn't rare to her. I was reliable, and reliable without being valued just means you're easy to keep around and easy to forget at the same time, sometimes in the same week. I don't think I fully believe it yet. Not all the way, not in the parts of me that still check my phone a little too fast when I don't recognize the number, or that still half hope for a message on nights I tell myself I'm over it, but I understand it now, and understanding it is different from feeling it. I know that. I'm not trying to prove anything to anyone anymore. I'm not trying to become someone's obvious choice by trying harder or waiting longer or being more patient than I actually feel. I just want to be picked without having to convince someone I'm worth picking. That's it. That's the whole thing. Not first place in some competition, just an actual place. One that doesn't depend on whether someone else fell through first. So if you're out there answering messages that show up right when you start to move on, just pay attention to the timing. Pay attention to who reaches first when things are good for them, versus who reaches first when things are quiet for them. It tells you everything, even when nobody says it out loud, and it's a hard thing to sit with, because it means admitting you were never the one they were looking for first, but at least you stopped waiting for something that was never coming.